go through with all the students what are the opportunities here and how you can apply to US universities and be accepted as a student. So the second point is that it will help you like in developing your new thoughts, understandings, and to have different kind of culture. Even you can learn a new language, and at some point in time it will change your view about life. Like when you come to a new foreign land, you will interact with people, you will learn their culture, their education system, you will imbibe the ambience here, and then you will learn new stuff. So it will help you to explore yourself and to motivate you towards doing better things in life. And then comes to the United States. Why particularly United States? So to move to the few points, important points here, I would like to say that United States encompasses the most renowned agricultural universities. So I will be talking most like today on agriculture universities or institutes, but it is also encompassing all the other science stream like basic sciences, physics, maths, and even other life sciences stream also like biotechnology. So that is one of the first criteria. Like US is endowing like a lot of renowned agricultural institutes, and then it is also providing a top quality education, which is not which is sometimes we like lacking in some of the developing nations. So US in that way providing a excellent educational systems, and you have your a lot of academic flexibility, like you can change your major, or you can choose your own topic of research or even coursework. So you have that flexibility in you. And then you have like world-class research and training opportunities in terms of business school, even you go to agriculture, horticulture institutes, in terms of departments, you will choose by yourself. And then when after you graduate from here, you will have a lot of opportunities there also. You can move to your own country in India and do some good works. You can collaborate with other nations. Even you can work in US also if you want. So there are a lot of other opportunities, career opportunities in US that's waiting for you. And then there are a lot of vast financial aids available, like scholarships, funds, and then assistantships. So I will discuss more in that while moving forward to the next topic. And then you will have an opportunity to learn a new culture, an American way of living. So you will see a sprawling campus, beautiful gardens and department, and above all, the beautiful labs. Like you will have a lot of instrumentation here, which sometimes lacking in other places. And then above all, you will explore yourself more while you are in US. There are a lot of places to visit, a lot of fun things to do. So you will mostly enjoy your stay in US. So in this slide, I have tried to focus on few of the US universities which are globally top ranking. As you know that there are like two university ranking services. One is QS top universities, and the other is the Times Higher Education ranking. So they have ranked global institutes across the whole globe. And I have listed here the US universities which made that cutoff. So you can see that within the top 30 universities, there are 10 institutes are from United States. So you can see that University of California, Cornell, University of Wisconsin, from where I am doing my PhD, University of California, Berkeley. So these are the top most universities in terms of agriculture and horticulture sciences. So there are other subjects I have not focused here because that's out of the interest of this topic. So for agriculture studies or horticultural studies, you can think about these institutes as per repute. So these are the top global agriculture institutes that is in the United States. So the next thing for studying in foreign land like USA comes into mind, and how do I pay the huge cost of tuition fees? So I will talk more about like fundings. So the fundings mostly comes in terms of scholarships, and the scholarships may be from university scholarships, and the university scholarships like it can be you can get it from US universities as well as in Indian universities. Like there are a lot of collaboration with Indian universities with US universities. So you can look for those collaboration or memorandum of understandings. So a lot of students come as visitor scholars or as a part-time PhD or master scholar. So this is another like option for short-term funding resources. But if you want to have a full-term or full-funded position in United States, then you can look for merit scholarship. That's institute that US universities provide those merit scholarships. Every university in US has their own merit scholarships. Even Indian universities also have some scholarships, which only few students they get it to come to a different country for studying. And then there are like government funded scholarships also, like government of India has, like our own Indian Council of Agriculture Research has on international fellowships, which is ICR International, ICR Netaji Subhas International Fellowships. So you can try for that fellowship. That's an important fellowship the government of India is providing. Besides that, there are other fellowships, which I will talk later more about the fellowships. So this is the broad classification of the funding sources that is important for you to think about when you are planning to come to US. So there are like country specific scholarships also. Like United States have different international scholarships for foreign students. So for India, they have also special fellowships also. For women's fellows, they have a special fellowship. So I will discuss more later. And then you can get always like university assistantships. Sometimes the US departments, they have their own department funding, or the supervisor provides funding. So in terms of research assistantships or teaching assistantships. So you can avail those also. So these tables shows you the list of Government of India fellowships as well as the foreign fellowships. So you can see that Government of India is also providing a lot of fellowships for foreign studies. So you can go through more in detail later. Like I have named few only here, but there are a lot of other fellowships opportunities also, which you can look later. So one of the important fellowships are like Netaji Subhas, as I said before, and then there are Fulbright Column fellowships, National Overseas Scholarships, Gyan Scholarships, J.N. Tata Endowment Scholarships, K.C. Mahindra Scholarships, Narottam Siksaria Foundation Scholarships. So those are the few important scholarships that I thought to mention here. And then if you look for the foreign funded fellowship, there are a lot of others, which India has a tie-up with other universities, like Fulbright Nehru Fellowship, so which is tie-up with India and US. So you can apply also for like United States fellowship, like Howard Humphrey Fellowship Program, which is exclusively American University Fellowship. You can also apply for Tata Scholarships, which is for Cornell University. And there are other American University Emerging Global Leadership Scholarships. So these are given for mostly bachelor studies, but for master and PhD, there are other studies also. Like for basic sciences, if you're interested, you can apply for S.N. Bose scholarships, which is tie-up between India and US. And there are other fellowships also, like Aga Khan Foundation and American Association of University for Women, which is exclusively for women scholars. Now, moving forward to the next topic, there are few steps before you try to apply for foreign universities. We need to go through in detail. So while you choosing an university, the first step comes in mind is that you need to choose a country. So here we are talking about US, so the country is of course United States. So next, after you know that, okay, you are coming to the United States, what is the next step? So you try to know that what are the requirements and the expenses, because these are the important, most crucial things while considering moving towards a new country or new nations. So you need to think about, we need to see the list of requirements for the particular universities in US and the attached expenditure or cost of the tuition fees, etc. And then once you know that, okay, you have the funding sources, or you know that you can afford the education there, then you can search for universities also, like what is the top universities that you want to go. So you should always go for the best universities, because the list is not exhausted. So there are a lot of universities in US which are really good. So you can choose wisely which university is good for you, good for your subject or your future endeavor. Then you need to clear some exams. I will talk later as I move forward. So what are the exams? Then you can get your scores, which are very important, essential part of application process. Then the next step is contacting the resource persons. Resource persons may be a research supervisor, maybe a manager somewhere, like in departmental or university HR people. So you need to contact them and ask them about the requirements of your application process and more about the departmental like courses, coursework, and research thing. So once you make the contact, you need to submit a formal applications, and then you wait for the application to be reviewed. And here, like, you need to have patience, so that, because sometimes the process becomes longer anyways, because the application pools are huge. So you need to wait for acceptance, and then if you are accepted, you need to work on the more application kits, what are the subsidiary requirement for applications, and then state arrange your funds and come to USA. So the first steps towards applying for US universities is to choose your country. As we see that we are coming to US for this interest, so I will talk mostly on the United States of America only. So before you come to USA, so you should thoroughly study the universities or the departments and their mandates of their research, the coursework which you will need to know, the funding sources. So you need to research thoroughly about what countries you want to come or what university you need to choose. And then at first you need to choose that what level of education you want to have here. Either you are coming for undergrad or post graduation or masters, or you can go for PhD. So you need to select your choice of course, like choice of level of education, what you want to have. Then pick a majoring subject. So as you are all horticultural sciences students, so I guess you would probably select some of the horticultural subject like fruit science or something like that. So you need to choose your subject wisely, and then you need to list down what are the other universities that's providing the same course, and probably choose one or two countries. Like in this case, we are choosing USA, so US, we will look universities in USA only. So once you choose your university or country of your education, you need to check your budget. So that's the most important part of the foreign education, because funding could be a bottleneck for applying to foreign universities. So most of the time the interviewer asks about funding, even if you're during your visa interview process. So they would try to see whether you are capable of funding your study. So you need to check your budget, and then probably you need to consider about improving your curriculum vitae. That is a part of your application process. And then some universities will ask for writing a statement of purpose. So statement of purpose basically is your willingness of doing research, or what are the activities you are interested in, and what is your prior experience that motivated you to come to that particular university. So that's in nutshell what SOP is. Then of course you need to contact to your some of the faculty, teachers or professors regarding some recommendation letters. So it is always advisable to have recommendation letters from those faculties who knows you personally very well. So try to get recommendation letter from them only, because they knows your portfolio, they knows about you, so they can write about you. So those are an important part of your application process. And then of course you need to have your transcripts ready, and most of the times as I have seen that many of the Indian colleges, they provide like sometimes bilingual certificates or transcripts. So you need to convert them. So there are a lot of English translation services available. You can take help from those to convert your transcript into an English acceptable for universities. And then if you have some publication, whatever it is, like if you are in undergrad, then probably you do not need publications. But if you are coming for like masters or a PhD student, maybe some publication sometimes helps. So it particularly helps with the PhD student or the postdocs one. So if you have some publications, it's well and good. So once you do that, then you search for the universities, you explore more options regarding your subject, and you already have chosen your subject. You search for the courses that you need to take in that particular subject, and check the entry requirement for that department. So the process of application is really sometimes becomes lengthy. So you need to have some patience and wait and watch how the application goes. So once it's accepted, the university will let you know that okay, your application is in the review or is accepted. So before that, to apply formally, you need to have some academic scores. So these are the most widely used admissions test across the globe. The US also accept this course. So the first one is GRE, which is graduate record examinations. It is the most widely used admission test for graduate and professional school, and it is useful for master's and doctoral programs to evaluate candidates. So it's organized by Educational Testing Service, which is called ETS. So GRE mostly comprises of 3 sections. The first one is verbal reasoning, which is of 170 marks. And then there is quantitative reasoning. They ask sometimes some maths and other stuff, which is 170 again. And then the last is of 6 marks, which is analytical writing. So they will ask you to write something, some arguments or some essays here. So if you have a good GRE scores, you have a quite good chance to get into US universities. So for management students, there are a specific examination called GMAT, which is also important part of the business school application process. And GMAT also have 4 different sections or modules. The first is analytical writing, and then you will be asked some quantitative questions like math, reasoning, etc. And then you will have another like verbal ability test. There is also another exam called Scholastic Assessment Test, which is called SAT, which is also sometimes they require in some specific math subjects or science subjects. It's also having reading section, writing section, and specific math and essay writing. So these exams are required sometimes. Not all of them. Maybe some universities require only GRE or some other language test. So the popular one of the language test is IELTS, which is International English Language Testing System. So IELTS basically conducted by British Council. So it is exams conducted by the British Council. It's not like the US based exam, but US accept the scores of the IELTS. It's a universal exam. So it is also comprising of 4 sections: listening, academic reading, academic writing, and speaking. So the academic and general training has two different IELTS exams. So you need to choose which one you need to write. So for most of the higher studies or academic things, you need to write the academic part of the IELTS. But those who wants to work in the other countries, like for labor or working things, so you need to write the general training exam. So this is a common language testing exam. There is another language testing exam. It's called TOEFL, which is Test of English as Foreign Language, which is also a popular language testing system, which is equivalent to IELTS. So you need to have either IELTS or TOEFL. Any one of them is good. So TOEFL also is consisting of 4 different sections: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So you need to go through in details. I'm not talking more about this. This is just to sensitize you regarding the exams which you need to take to come to US. So the next step is to contact the resource person. So which is one of the most crucial and important steps in applying for foreign universities. So you need to choose wisely about your resource persons to whom you are coming. Check their profiles online, see their work culture, their publications, their lab mates, and their instrumentation, whatever. Like, go thoroughly about that particular faculty that you want to come here. And then once you see that, okay, some of the research work or some of the course work is matching with your expectation or which you want to do in here, then you need to email this professor or assistant professor, the resource person, and try to be in contact with him or her. Then you need to wait for to hear them back. And if you are lucky, then they will reply you as accepting or rejecting, whatever it is. Sometimes it's always depend on the funding sources. So if they fund, they will, and if your goals are matching with their lab's mandate, definitely you have a greater chance. So you just don't need to wait for their reply, and if you are lucky, you get accepted. So once you are accepted, then you need to submit a formal applications. So every university has a different kind of system for applications. Some universities they require some more documentation, some require some less documentation. But irrespective of the universities, more or less the format is same. Like, you need to apply to individual university. You cannot apply with the same application to multiple universities. So it's university specific. So you need to apply individual university, and then you need to have your documents ready. So the documents which are required for your application most of the time is your CV, statement of purpose, your test scores, and then sometimes they ask for a one-page essay or like personal statements. Of course, you need your transcripts and certificates ready, and then mostly 3 recommendation letters are required sometimes. And it is like one of the most important thing. Like if your recommendation letters are good, and it is the acceptance rate is also higher. And then you need to see your financial statements, and that is also very crucial steps in applying process. So sometimes in visa interview as well as in application process, they will ask to produce some documents which will show you that you are capable of paying the tuition fees or the living expenditure. So once your application is accepted, then before that you need to make sure that you choose the best university and the best offer. So there are like lot of crucial things that is hidden upon the application. Sometimes university may not declare that what is the hidden cost. So you need to see whether your expenditure is consisting of all the cost combined, and you can pay for it, or the university is offering it, or you have the scholarship or funding to support it. So you need to choose wisely which offer is the best. Sometimes you can receive offer letter from multiple institutes. Then it become more complex. So which university to choose? So then again, you need to ask for expert review. Like you can ask your seniors who are in already anyways, or you can ask like research by yourself also which university is best for that subject. And of course, you need to choose one university to come. And once you selected that university, you just make ready your other documents like passport, I-20, and degree certificates, and then financial statements again. So the arranging fund is the most and crucial steps in applying to foreign universities. So funding may come from scholarships, from assistantships. Sometimes students come like in bank loans. I've known many people who comes through bank loan, mostly master students, and mostly like engineering and computer science. They come by taking bank loans, and then they repay it like in gradually in installments. So bank loans is also another option, like personal support. And then of course, if you have your family financial support, that is also acceptable. So once you have your fundings, then if you are okay to come to US, then the next and the final step is to apply for visa. And of course, you all know that you need to apply for visa online, and then you need to choose a center. You need to go there and take the visa interview, and you just show their documents, including your financial stuff. Then your visa is accepted. So the acceptance of visa rate is higher if you have an accepted offer or your funding statement clear that okay, this is the funding statement, and I am not depending on others for funding. I have my own source, or the university is paying. So those are the crucial steps in the visa interview process, which I faced. And from my experience, it is become more easier if you can clarify those things, like the funding source. So not last but the least, I would like to discuss a few things about like career opportunities in US. So to make a good career in US depends on many other aspects, like a good academic scores. Of course, whatever subject you are, like the course, it is PG or PhD or UG. So your academic assessment is important. You need to have a good score here, and then network building is also essential. So while you are in US, you will go to conferences, you will go for internships, you will make friends, you will work with different universities, you will make colleagues. So that networking is essential. So sometimes it is become more essential when you want to apply for higher studies, like further studies, like postdocs, or further than that. So postdocs is considered as a job in US. So it's like scientist job in India. So postdocs are very competitive. So networking is very important here. And then every department, every institute, every university in US, they have a specific department called Office of the Career and Professional Development. So they provide assistance during your career transition. So after you graduate from here, have your degree done, then those HR people, they would help you to choose career, like whatever, depending upon your subject, depending upon the availability of the job. So that department is comes in very handy, very helpful. And then many of the students, they go for academia, because if you go for higher studies, of course there are a lot of opportunities in academic positions like assistant professor or something like that, different USDA, and then United States Environmental Protection Agency. It's like a lot of government agencies are there. They hire postdocs, hire PG students as their in different jobs there. So the jobs may vary, like depending on the department you are choosing and depending on the subject you are having. But there are a lot of academic jobs available in US. Some of the students, they would prefer to go for like industries. That US has a lot of agricultural farms, and many of the chemical fertilizer companies, they hire grad students sometimes. So you have a lot of opportunities in there as a trainee there, and then as a become a manager. And then there are a lot of agri-horticultural industries also, which are hiring students from top universities, and many students choose to open their own like companies. They become entrepreneur in US. So that's also not exceptional. So you can be an entrepreneur in after you complete your study here. That's also another arena of career. And then there are a lot of federal and state government jobs that are there. You can apply. If you are in US, you will see a lot of opportunities are coming at your door. So to jot down the references, I have listed here the few important websites or references for fellowship funding and for like PG position, PhD position, and postdoc positions. So these websites helped me a lot during my application process, and I would say that these also will come to a great help for you also. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Sridhar ji and the Vice Chancellor of UAHS, Dr. M.K. Nayak ji, and also for giving me the opportunity to talk about like career developments and learning opportunities in international studies. I am thankful to my wife, Sagarika, also for assistance in the preparation of the talk. Thank you. So I would I'll be available for questions. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dr. Sumant Chatterjee. Now the session is open for discussion. Participants, if you have any queries, please, you are free to ask.
Hello everyone, this is Atinder. Currently I am a graduate student in Texas Tech University, USA, Lubbock. Thanks Dr. Samantha for a very beautiful talk. I have few questions. Since I am currently doing my master research, I will definitely go for my PhD. My question is, currently I have my professor is associate professor. So what do you suggest? Like if I am going for a PhD, should I look for an assistant professor or a full-time professor? Like what do you think? Like should I go with the experience or should I go with a young age?
Yeah, that's a nice question. To answer to that question, I can share my experience. Like I'm doing my PhD under supervision of an assistant professor. So I can say you like a better perspective here. So it's not about the position there. It's really about their research work and like how they are matching with your objective, and if they have publications in that area. Like that publication could be an yardstick. When you are going for PhD, you need to see whether that supervisor has publications in that area and is also like working hard. So those things are important. It's sometimes the assistant professors, sometimes they have a lot of time to teach you. But if you go to a big shot like a full professor, they don't have much time. So most of the time their postdoc would be supervising you, not them directly. So with assistant professor, your chances of like direct contact with supervisor is much more than if you choose to a full professor. What I am observing here is like I have many friends in US, in Wisconsin. and some of them are really having this problem. Like sometimes they say that, okay, my supervisor is not giving me much time, which I needed. But I cannot complain that, because I know that if I email him, he is quick at reply. So it really depends on your subject and the working environment, the lab, and his experience. So those things matter. I think the position doesn't matter here, according to my opinion. I mean, sometimes, yeah, for job and other stuffs, big people, recommendation from them can help. So yeah, you can think about that. But the thing is that you can always choose them. Like you can select them as a committee members, not as a major advisor. If you are comfortable with working with an assistant professor, you can select him as a major advisor, and then you can choose like some of the big people in your committee. What I have done, I did like this. So I think I can give you some light here.
I think I got my answer.
Yeah.
And other question which I have is, can you suggest something like by which students can look for the positions that are like open in somebody's lab or in universities?
Yeah, so there are some websites like like I have listed some of the references. You can look for that also, or you can go for like any universities, go to their job sites, like any department, and you can see their openings. Like they advertise every lab. I mean, in US, in United States, there is an obligation. Like you need to advertise jobs now. Like it's not like so you need to take leverage of the online websites, online surveys. You can ask your seniors here or friends. It's always like we come to know that, yeah, okay, this lab has a position. So it's not a problem here. So I can help you maybe later.
Yeah, sure. I will like to get your email.
Sure.
Do you have any students from Punjab Agricultural University and University of Wisconsin?
I think in our department we do not have any. We have students from IISc Bangalore and other, like I am from IRI. So, but PAU, yeah, we have students from other department, not in soil science, but in other departments we have some, I think.
My bachelor's is from PAU.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello sir, good morning. I'm Sanil Islam and I'm currently doing my BSc Agriculture from Assam Agriculture University. And so I'm planning to do my masters from USA. Sir, for masters, do we need to apply direct, sir, for masters, do we need to mail any professor, or we can directly go to the university website and apply from there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for masters, I think you need to talk to the professors first or the resource persons first. So whether, I mean, you can talk to them, like you can email them, you can attach your CV and like one page your like SOP, what I said earlier, and then see whether he or she is interested to take you in that lab. So that's the first step. And once they tell you, okay, you can apply. So that's the process, formal procedure of applying in US. You need to have their consent. Okay, you are good to go. Then you need to apply formally. And once you are applying formally, you need to have all those documents, like your CV, your transcript, your financial statements, your scores. So those are the essential parts. And sometimes, like if you have funding, and if you approach them with your like saying that, okay, you have funding, they don't have to fund you, then it's become easier. Like it's a easy process. Like if you funding, they will readily accept you. Of course, you need to meet some of the requirements that I said earlier, but the funding is the main crux here. Like if you have your own funding, then people are like acceptance rate is much more, because getting fund from USA sometimes become tough. Yeah.
Okay sir, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I am Rajesh. I am currently doing my master's in entomology at IRI New Delhi. So I am hoping for a fully funded PhD project in USA. So what are the criteria should I meet? Like what are the scores, GRE or IELTS scores should I get in order to secure a fully funded PhD program?
Yeah, great. Good question. Yeah. So Yeah, it's the GRE scores depends on the university you are choosing. So all the universities, they do not have a uniform GRE score requirement. So sometimes it depends really on the university. Like if you are going for like Harvard or Princeton or Cambridge, maybe their GRE requirement may be higher. But there are a lot of other universities also who have like which have most of the like agriculture in colleges like Wisconsin. You can apply in here also, or in like Texas A&M. There, like I have made a list in the presentation. You can apply any of those universities, including Cornell and Purdue. So their GRE requirements, I mean, they advertise it. I mean, they say it in the application process that you need to have this much. Sometimes they need like 300, sometimes like 290 is okay, 310 is okay. So it's really depend on the requirements of that university, and you need to go through their website and look for their requirements. It's very hard to say like which university requires which marks. Yeah, but I mean, I can say like roughly that getting a score above 300 in GRE is always good. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So another thing is, what are the research papers should I publish? Like
Yeah.
how to when to contact a professor, like before publishing our research paper or during our second year of masters. So when it will be optimum?
Yeah. So you are currently a master student, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, in masters, I mean, if you are applying for PhD, I mean, one publication is good. Sometimes, sometimes they do not need publication at all. So it's really depending on your work, what you are doing, and if you have potential, you can explain it through your SOP or application process. Sometimes they would ask you to write what are you going to do in US. So if you can satisfy them with these things, then publication is not like a criteria here. But yeah, it's always good to have one or two publications, not much. I mean, you don't need to have like 10 publications to come to US. Like I had only 2 publications, so it was good. But as I had some privilege because I had some experience in ARS system, so that counted. But like in normal way, it's always it doesn't always depend on the publication numbers. If you have one publication in a good journal, it's okay or good. Yeah.
Okay, sir. What about these grade points during our masters? Will they have impact on them?
Good. I mean, yeah, you need to have some of like some what do you call qualifying grade marks. Like, of course, like getting a grade point. Like if you're in IRI, I think most of the students they get a above 8. So I think it's good. So it is also not very important criteria to come to US as long as you are not failing in any subject or you do not have any like D or that below that grade. So as long as you are getting that much grade, I think it's okay. So what matters is that your experience and your instrumentation skills and your sometimes your analytical skills. If you can express those things very clearly that you have that experience and you can you can work in a team or in a collaborative way. You have the potential. So if you satisfy them with these things, I think grade is not that much important. But yeah, of course, minimum grade is required, and above 8 is I think is good.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, I'm
Hello,
Rana
sir.
Bhai.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Ranal Barbhai, sir. I would just like to ask you, will it be beneficial to have a second PhD in another country? At present, I've completed my PhD in Foods and Nutrition from PJTSAU Hyderabad.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So the question is, why you want to have a second PhD?
Like the prospects of research in food industry are more in US. So, like, would it be beneficial? Like, because people have they have options like why do you want to do another PhD? I
Right.
actually am looking for postdoc as well as PhD, and I've
Yeah.
like heard from people that if you want to do postdoc in other countries, it's better to have a PhD there and then join as a postdoc because you'll be given better preference. And considering my field, the research is much advanced in US.
Yeah, that's true. So the thing is that different people have different opinion in that. But I would go for like rather than doing a second PhD, I would try for postdoc. I mean, even try harder for that. Like there are a lot of Indian fellowship also. You can try for that. If I know that getting a postdoc, like funding, US funding is very competitive. So you can try for those fellowship like Fulbright, Nehru, all those. I have mentioned some of them like ACRB board, India, DST. They have some women's fellowship also. You can try for that. And yeah, of course, it's really depend on your enthusiasm. If you want to have a second PhD and you are confident about that, you can go for that also. It's really depend on your priorities. Like if you want to spend more time in doing research, or you want to have experience for postdocs, and what you want to do afterwards. After that, like once you gain your postdoc in US, what to do? Like if you want to try to find jobs here, or you want to return to India or other countries to settle up. So it's really like the priorities here, which is important.
Sir, good morning, sir. I have one question.
Yeah, good morning.
Sir, other than the postdoc, I'm working here as a permanent faculty already. So, other than the postdoc, what are the other career options for faculty, sir?
Okay, so you are asking about like a temporary kind of scholarships here or job experience, right?
Short duration when we visit to overseas on dependent visa. What are the other options we can go for?
Yeah, there are some fellowships like overseas fellowships. Even Fulbright, Nehru, I think they give some of the visiting scholarship. Not only Fulbright, there are other like Department of Science and Technology, India government, I am telling, and there are United States their own fellowship also, the scholarships they give to visiting scholars. You can come, you can always come as a visiting scholar. So you can, after if you are not looking for postdoc, you can come as a visiting scholar. You can have a first-hand experience here, like 1 year, 6 months, really depending on your duration of your fund you have. So those opportunities are there. You can even work with some companies like who hire interns. So those internships are also available if you are not looking for postdocs. And yeah, visiting scholarship would be good for you.
Usually, how much duration they will provide, sir? Visiting scholars.
Yeah, it really depend on like the source of your fellowships. So if it like I know that Endeavor Australia, they provide 6 months, and there are like Fulbright, I think they provide for something like 9 months. So you need to check with the funding source how long they can give you the fund. So really depending on the funding. So basically it spans from 6 months to 1 year to 2 years. So really depend on the funding source.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Thank you for the webinar, sir. Sir, currently I am pursuing my master's in genetics and plant breeding at TNAU. I am looking for PhD positions in abroad, sir. Like, if in case I am unable to get, like, is there any scope or opportunities to get research assistant like JRF and SRF in India?
Yeah, of course, you will have a lot of opportunity in getting like GRE or SRF. A lot of universities, including IRI, even TNU, they hire like PG students after masters or PhD. You can join them as a SRF or RA. You need to look for their websites and the departments, the faculties, and there are like they sometimes advertise the postings. Sometimes they advertise as a in newspaper on their departmental websites. So look at their websites and the labs which you want to work, and try to contact personally also by emailing them or writing them. So you can leverage all those resources. And it is I think you can get one SRA or RA position in India also. If you have
no, sir, in abroad, sir.
Oh,
So
you are
that we can
asking
get
about
in
abroad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So you are coming after PhD, right?
No, sir. Like immediately after masters, is there any
Okay,
scope, or
good.
only after PhD do we have to
Yes,
search for
yes.
that?
Yeah, immediately if you are looking for a PhD here, of course, if you are accepted here in the PhD system, you will be provided an assistantship. They call it a research assistantship, RA, or graduate research assistantship, GRA. So if you are coming for it as a PhD student, you can have GRA or RA ships once you are accepted into the system. And if you are coming after PhD, yeah, there are also like teaching assistantships and postdoc positions, visiting scholar. Those you can look for.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hi, I'm a PhD student from IRI. So I just wanted to know whether only GRE TOEFL works in USA, or are there any chances of IELTS working in USA universities? One. And the second, whether we need for us to apply for postdoc, whether we need to clear general training of IELTS or academic IELTS. I just wanted to know these two.
Yeah. So I can share you my experience. I have given the IELTS exam instead of TOEFLs, and it is acceptable in US for PhD and postdocs also. For the second question, whether it is general IELTS or academic IELTS, I am not very much sure. But I am sure that for PhD they require academic IELTS. So you can look for the website whether because postdocs is considered as a job here. But the thing is that the general IELTS is for those people who are not in academics, but postdocs really into academics. So I guess it is still academics IELTS which you need to have, but you need to be sure about that. I mean, I am not sure about it.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what are the sandwich opportunities for undergraduates?
Yeah. So
Can you throw some light on that?
yeah. I think for undergrads, I have mentioned some of the fellowships there. You can go for the website. I mean the PPTs, and there are some sandwich programs that is a tie-up with Indian universities to US universities, and like one of those tie-up programs like Corona Fellowships is one of them, and there are other biotechnology fellowships are there, and it's also sometimes depend on the university memorandum of understanding MOU. It's like I know that many universities in India they have some tie-up with US universities. So like IRI also has like many students came from IRI as but IRI is not certainly not providing undergrad for PG students. But for undergrads, like some of the universities, some state agriculture universities, a lot of students comes to US those sandwich programs. So it's depending on your like department and then the MOU that the university has, and those some of the fellowships are like Government of India, like Corona is one of them, and you can look for other fellowships also. I'm not very much aware about those stuff, but there are some fellowships that you can come with like in undergrad also, like after your second year of undergrad or third year or the final stage you can come.
Hello everyone. I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all of those who have made this webinar a great success. I extend my gratitude to our honorable guest, Mr. Suman Chatterjee, to take out time from his busy schedule to grace this webinar. On behalf of USHS Shimoga and the College of Horticulture Hiriyuru, thank you so much, sir, for inspiring, encouraging, guiding us by your sharing your knowledge and vast experience with the student community. Thank you so much, sir. I must thank even the organizing team, the dean, and all the professors for working hard for the past few days to make this webinar successful. And then I would like to thank to all the participants for actively involving in the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.